Hey everyone, Chris G here, and today I want to talk quickly about the Acer All-in-One C24. Now, as a lot of you on this channel know, I'm a pretty big fan of Acer products, and for that matter, I'm a pretty big fan of the Acer All-in-Ones. They tend to be a little bit cheaper than the counterparts from Dell and Lenovo, while offering a lot of bang for their buck. Well, in any event, today what we want to find out is if this brand new version of the Acer C24 is any good, and if you should buy one yourself. Now this is normally the part in the video where I would go through some specs such as the processor, RAM, and a bunch of that other crap. But we're gonna skip by a lot of that stuff because what I want to talk about primarily is the form factor. See, here in studio, I have an old version of the Acer C24. And there are some curiosities about the new version versus the old one. To the point that I actually kind of think they made the computer worse. For example, they made it a little bit thicker, which I can't really understand why they would do that. I mean, it's, I don't know if it's really gonna translate on camera. But they made it a little bit thicker. Not that that's that big of a deal because, I mean, it just isn't. However, they also made it with cheaper plastics. And if we go down the line of things that they did on this new platform, you'll see that there's just a couple of things that they kind of like took away from it. So you've got a slightly bigger form factor. You do still have like the same little kind of, stand for it, which I've always liked the stand, single place, just one central location. It's good. Anyway, but from an LCD standpoint, still not a touch screen. It's actually really the same panel. It's like it literally capped out on the same color gamut tests and the same thing with the brightness and all that other stuff. They did happen to add a webcam at the top here, so I guess that's kind of nice. On some of the revised models of the old Acer C24, they did have a pop-up camera. But anyway, yeah, back to the cons, which is really what I wanted to talk about. I/O on this computer is very disappointing. See, on the old model, on the top, give you a camera card, and then they gave you two USB super speed ports. And on the back, you had HDMI out, some more USB. On this one, however, on the back, you've got two USB super speed ports, gigabit Ethernet, HDMI out. That's not throughput, by the way, so that means you can't hook a PlayStation or Xbox or something like that to the back of it. And then you have one single USB-C port, not Thunderbolt or anything like that, nothing fancy where you can plug a display, no, just a single USB-C, meant for like external hard drives and data and stuff like that. But on the top bezel, where they put some ports on it before, it is missing that. It also doesn't have a camera card on it, which is kind of a disappointment. On the bottom here, you do have a single USB port. However, it's USB 2.0, which I can't imagine a more useless place to be putting that, considering, that's where you're gonna be sticking thumb drives and stuff. So by all accounts, they ruined the form factor of this machine by making it with cheaper plastic, by making it a little bit thicker and heavier, and by kind of diminishing the input and output on it. You do still get a wireless keyboard and mouse, and I guess that's kind of nice. And overall, the screen quality, I mean, it's good. It's nothing to write home about. It's not like it's HDR or anything like that. And they are, of course, more expensive now too, which, we're talking about by maybe like a 10 or 20% increase in price, like everything these days. But, overall, I just kind of feel like Acer missed the boat on this one. When you compare it to like the Dell All-in-Ones, which have a plethora of different I/O ports on them, and they're really good for things like studio work and stuff like that, I feel like Acer could have done something to make this a little bit better for those working in Photoshop or making movies or this kind of thing. I mean, again, the absence of a media card port of any kind is just kind of a real letdown. Again, not doing that on like a laptop or something like that, because you gotta save space maybe, but it's an all-in-one. Put that in there, come on guys. I mean, hell, there's a Kensington lock port on this thing for God's sakes, which, barely anybody uses Kensington lock as it is. But of course this has that, but no media card port. So I don't know, who's this computer for? Well, I guess just people needing a sort of basic all-in-one for productivity work, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, that kind of thing. I mean, it is quick. I'm not gonna benchmark it because it's just a little cheap productivity machine, but it is fast. It'll do all that stuff pretty well. This is probably like your grandmother's all-in-one, something she can just do email and internet with. But I wouldn't say this is a serious computer for serious users. I mean, you're not gonna be, making 4K videos. You're not gonna be gaming on this thing either. Maybe some Minecraft, Roblox, that kind of thing. But overall, it's just kind of, I don't know, especially for the price point, I feel like Acer could have been a little bit more innovative and less detractive on some of the stuff that they put on there. I mean, there's no Windows Hello compatible camera. I mean, nothing. There's really nothing about this computer that stands out. if I'm being unclear. Anyway, should you buy the Acer C24 all-in-one? No, because in the past you could get better deal on these Acers, again, just better bang for your buck overall than you could on a Dell, but now Dell is rocking out all these different sales and stuff like that, and for that matter, so is Lenovo. You could probably nab a really decent all-in-one from one of those two brands for about the same price that you could for this Acer all-in-one, and I just feel like you get a little more, I don't know, a little more oomph. You know, Lenovo typically has like a spare 2.5-inch SATA base somewhere in their all-in-ones. Dell usually has some pretty solid I/O, including HDMI throughput, where you can, you know, put your video game console or something like that onto it and use it as a display. But no, the Acer doesn't really have anything that makes it stand out. Anyway, that was our basic, very quick rundown of the new Acer Aspire C24. So, you know, it's nice, but look elsewhere, I guess. But if you do want to buy one, use our affiliate links, please. It will help support this channel. Also, I want to introduce our Patreon channel that we're going to be releasing here soon. So catch us on Patreon. I'll put a link in the description for it. We'd be very, very grateful for anybody's support. And obviously, if you have any questions on this thing, though, feel free to reach out to us as well. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we will be back with another video really soon.